That my number 3 pick is no other than Captain America Civil War. Oh my god, this was definitely Avengers 2.5. This was the film where we got our first introduction of Black Panther. This was the film where we got our introduction of the new version of Spider-Man. This was the film where we literally see Team Iron Man and Team Captain America go head to head against one another. And it was an amazing story. It was an amazing, movie, a cinematic experience. I got to see it in IMAX, and man, it literally threw me, because to see Iron Man and Captain America juggle between signing the Sokovia Accords in order to put order amongst the Avengers superpowered beings was actually really cool to see, from a logical dynamic and a physical dynamic where these two teams are literally fighting each other. And on one hand, you can see both sides of why you would agree with the Accords and why you wouldn't agree with the Accords. On one hand, you would agree with the Accords because of the fact that, you know, the Avengers do need to be put in check. I mean, listen, like, you know, what happened with the events of Age of Ultron, what happened with the very first Avengers movie, what happened with Captain America Winter Soldier. I mean, the Avengers do need to be checked with their powers. I mean, they do cause destruction, and on top of that, you know, they made a good point that we attract superpowered beings to us. Like, there are people who want to challenge our gangster because they know we can hold our own. That's pretty much part of the reason why Thanos was coming their way to, you know, F up stuff, you know? So it was such a fulfilling movie to see. And then on the other side, we see why we don't want to give, you know, we don't want to sign that Sokovia Accords, because, you know, what if there's someone in trouble and they tell us that we can't go? You know, basically the government will be controlling the Avengers. And we've all seen the government do things where we felt like they shouldn't be doing certain things. You know, like they obviously don't have a handle on everything that's going on. And can you imagine if the government had told the Avengers not to fight off Thanos? I mean, could you imagine that? Could you imagine if the government told them not to save them from Ultron? Like, can you imagine what would have been the ramifications of that? So I understand both sides of the coin. I was Team Iron Man though, because they had the better characters. No political reason why. I was just Team Iron Man because Black Panther, Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, Vision. And by the way, the best scene in that whole movie was the airport scene. We literally see Spider-Man facing off against Captain America. We see Black Panther going against Captain America. We see Ant-Man versus everybody. We see War Machine against Cap. We see Hawkeye against Tony. We see Scarlet Witch against it's just a melting pot of superheroes fighting one another, and it's like, wow, like, who would have thought that this would have been a good movie to see? Like, who would have thought that we would see for the very first time Civil War amongst our heroes? And I was like, yo, Team Iron Man is gonna whoop that ass. They gonna whoop that ass. And I would like to point out something in this film, okay? Team Iron Man didn't win. I don't care what people say about Team Captain. No, Team Iron Man beat them, okay? They beat them. They beat their big gun, which was Ant-Man. So Team Iron Man all the way. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, though, there was a lot of political dynamics in this movie that really made you think, like, okay, if I sign I have to do this, but if I don't sign, these are the repercussions. And it was just such an amazing movie. The final battle scene between Captain America and Iron Man, where they find out that Bucky was the one who killed Iron Man's parents. I mean, that was such a good fight scene because it's emotional for Tony. Like, I'm only fighting you because you're protecting the man who killed my parents. So it just becomes a thing where you don't know who's gonna win. Like in this movie, people kept saying, oh, Iron Man's going to die, or Captain America's going to, somebody of the Avengers is going to die. But obviously no one died. But I have to say though, it was a really good ending of what the future Avengers were going to look like. And it was definitely a good ending to see how to tell the rest of the story of the Avengers are now like broken up. They're done. Like that was the precedent of saying that they are no longer the Avengers anymore. So that was a really cool thing to see as well. So my number 3 pick has to be no other than Captain America Civil War. A lot of great things came out of that movie. That movie was so much better than the Avengers movie. I was just like, yo, I had to put that on my number 3 pick. Oh, and one other thing, we got our tease to Black Panther, so I thought that was cool as well. So yeah, if I had to put this in order, and I know these things are very hard to put in order, my number 3 pick would have to be no other than Captain America Civil War.